I'm going to open up a Pro Tools templates. So what's your interest in spatial audio? Okay. Okay. So like an architectural type of thing, like rooms that you go in and out of, maybe? I don't know. Are you guys using 360 cameras with this? Okay. Great. Cool. Okay, so I don't know what you know about us, but we're a hardware and software company. We build, the 8-ball microphone, and then a whole suite of software to support that to make it an end-to-end product from capture to delivery. And so, we built a Unity SDK for the deployment of the 8-ball mixes or captures or any audio mixes utilizing our plugins, as well as Unreal, as well as YouTube and Facebook support, and then our own iOS app, and support for Android devices as well, and our own web player SDK. So pretty much, and then live streaming for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So it's a pretty complete package. If you're a pro, do you use Pro Tools? Okay. Do you use Reaper? Okay. Well, I'll show you a couple things then. So the microphone, it comes with a video player that's external. Which I thought I had open. Yeah. So it comes with this video player that you can load your rectangular video in and pan it around and look. Can you see this? Okay, so you can pan around and look at your content, and that will sync to whatever DAW system you want to use, whether it's Pro Tools or Reaper or Nuendo. We're working with Adobe right now to get it to work with Premiere. So eventually that will happen. And then so when you're in your DAW system, I'll just show you Pro Tools because I have it open. You play this content, and sorry, it's not too loud. Hold on. Let me put some headphones in so it's not so loud. And when you play that content, the video can control your whole session. So when you pan around in the video, it pans your whole DAW system for you. So you can do your mix that way. I'll show you right now. So as I pan this, so as I'm playing, my DAW system, it's playing this video, and as I pan this, it's panning my whole Pro Tools system utilizing our plugins. So we have a whole bunch of plugins here that control. So I can pan the DAW system around my head this way, or I can use this to control the whole mix. So that's one of the plugins that come, one of the pieces of software that come with the microphone. So it's a control for your DAW, and then an external video player that takes like a rectangular video and turns it into 360 video. And I'm just going to go through these quick if that's okay. Okay, so this plugin right here is called Compass. It's a plugin that allows you to take the microphone and change the north perspective in any which way you want. So you can just statically change it to whatever degree you want, or you can automate this change through time. So if your camera, you decided to change north, you can change, north throughout your piece. You can just automate that, maybe for the first 2 minutes, it's 0 degrees, and the next 30 minutes, it's 180 degrees. And then it's, negative 90 degrees for 10 minutes, something like that, or anywhere in between. So that's a plugin for calibration and or sound design and or directionality of the microphone if you choose that you want to use it in the reverse fashion or sideways or whichever way you want. So it's a good, powerful post-production tool after capturing with the microphone. Does that make sense? Okay. I'll just go through these really quick. And then for non-spatial things that you have, like sound design or a lav mic or a boom mic or VO, if you want to spatialize those things, we built 2 plugins for that. So you can take anything that you have in your mix and send it through these 2 plugins. Earth is looked at as a surround system, so you can get information around your head. So that's center, that's behind your head, that's on the side of your head, that's directionally, I mean, right around, like opposite of the front of your head. That's the side, that's the front. And then this sky one is above your head. So you can send content to there, to these, channels, if you will, and that'll go around your head over headphones in a VR fashion. And that integrates with the panning that I showed you first, the directionality of, which way you face, called head tracking, does that make sense? Okay. And then we have this, yeah. And then we have this video player where you load it's a plugin where you load your equirectangular video into a plugin, and that syncs with your DAW system. So as I play, you can see people are moving around, drummers playing. I can take a sound and allocate that sound to this dot right here and move this dot and automate it. So if this bass player here walked across the room, I would just do this and it would follow him automatically wherever he went if I turned on my automation. You can center that. You can change the color of it. You can put a grid on to look at the degrees around your head. And it goes up for elevation, down for lower elevation, and left and right for around your head. You can load your. It can be a single channel. It can be a multiple channel. So for example, here I have 2 sounds going into it. And these are the horn players here, and I have them slightly above your head and on the side where you see them in picture. Yeah, so you can route that any way you want. You could have a mono in, multi-channel out around your head, or you can have a stereo in, multi-channel out around your head. You can scale it as big as you want or as small as you want. That makes sense. Yeah, so here's another 2-channel version where I have something spread out around right behind your head. So it's this symbol and then part of that hi-hat over here around your head, should be over there really. And that's the drummer's perspective. And I just have a music thing up because we're allowed to use this content. Yeah, and so that's the suite. That's our suite of software that goes into all the DAW systems that I mentioned and some more. And then external to that, we have an encoder tool. And this encoder tool will allow you to just go out, point and shoot, and upload and mux audio with video. So for example, you would take the 8-ball microphone, which I'll show you in a second, and you would take the capture from that. You take your audio files, and if you captured it in 4 stereo pairs or 1 8-channel interleave file or 8 mono files, you could load it in here, choosing whatever you've used, and then you load your video that you've created along with this into this, and then it'll mux. You can choose your audio bit rate and your video bit rate. You can calibrate your video if you wanted to change north there or make your video from stereo to mono, and then you can output it for an iOS app, our web SDK, or an Android phone. Gear VR is Samsung's Gear VR platform, which also coincides with Oculus Go. So that will go to both. 8-ball to Ambex is Facebook and YouTube, or any ambisonic solution. If you click on this, you can also choose FUMA or ACN. You can add a corrective EQ. And then here 360 View is our own video platform. So you would, if you wanted to work in DAW systems and you wanted to optimize your video to work well in DAWs, you would load it into this and export our Here 360 View version of the video, and that will work really well with this external player that I mentioned earlier. And that optimizes the whole video, because a lot of people have really heavy, high, 8K video sometimes, or 6K video, or something really heavy that may or may not work with a DAW system. So we created this to allow people to just do something really simple. And you can make it monoscopic, you can, make it standard, or a light version of it. And so outside of this encoder, there's also the Unity and Unreal SDKs, and then all our live streaming SDKs that come along with the purchase, as well as a manual and 14 videos and an FAQ to explain how to utilize the whole capture and post process with whatever DAW you're using. I'd like to show you the mic now, if that's possible. Okay, so the mic. I'm going to grab it over here. The mic comes in this case right here. The case just, has some information about it and, all that. I'll open the mic, show you. It has a sleeve, and then once you open it here, in the case is the microphone, and then you take out the microphone, and give me 1 second to take it out. So you take out the microphone. It's got a magnetic door here. This door allows you access to the center section right here. And then there's these 2 clips right here that are just quick release clips that take out the center section. This is the section right here. It's 2 pieces. It's a screw here, and that releases these 2 pieces. And that would go on a stand. So if you have your camera, let me lower this a little bit. If you have your camera living right here, you could take the cables from the camera and lay it down the pole. You take this clamping mechanism, you can put this wherever you want on the pole, and you would just set it up, like this, and tighten it. And then the microphone body just slides right on there and locks into position utilizing these clamps right here. And now the cables from the camera can go through the microphone. The magnetic door seals everything, and you're capturing everything from one perspective. So your north, which is this dot right here, it's hard to see with this lighting. There's a dot right here, a dimple, that will line up your north with your camera north, and all your cables in the same place. Everything's clean, and you're capturing everything from the same perspective. So in the post, you can turn the mic with our software tools, or you can just take the mic, point, shoot, mux it with the video with our encode tool that I showed you earlier, and then upload it to whatever platform or player that you need to, show this content with. And that's pretty, in the box too, by the way. In the box, you take out the center section here, and in there is 2 headbands, windscreens, if you will. And then Mugami, which is a really high-end Japanese company, makes a very, very high-end cable for the microphone, which is mini XLR stereo on one side, and then mono standard XLR on the other side. And it's all wrapped in this really high-end weave right here. This cable costs us a lot of money. And then a registration card's in the box. And that's the whole thing, really. Did you follow all that?
Yeah. It looks like pretty
good. I mean, it's 6 inches in diameter. We've used it with an Omni. Yeah, no, it's not huge. The thing is, the microphone is not synthesized. It's a natural spatial capture. So what we've created here is a human head with 4 perspectives. Sorry, let me move this. We created a human head with 4 perspectives. So this and this need to be away from each other to create an inaural time delay and inaural level difference. And what I mean by that is information coming from this side of the mic would come to this ear first, and then this ear second. And the acoustic shadowing and the filtering that all happens within the mic, plus the inaural time delay and inaural level differences, add what's called an HRTF, and that's a natural spatial capture. It's not synthesized like an ambisonic mic. It doesn't require an HRTF, and it creates its own. So it's very, very real sounding, but very, very spatial. And you get all those perspectives in one capture, and then you can stitch it together with software or head tracking and platforms that already support that. For example, Samsung Gear VR, you can just take the microphone capture and put it into their platform because they natively support it. So that's why it's 6 inches, because we have to maintain that inaural time delay and the acoustic shadowing and the inaural level differences and the filtering. That's all inherent to this design. If we made it any smaller, it wouldn't work. Yep. Yeah. Dummy head. Yeah. It's 4 dummy heads in one capture. Exactly. With a bunch of other stuff going on as well. Yep. Yeah, or just a web player. Yeah, it works. the way we set it up, again, it's end to end. So we built everything that you could want, um, as far as delivery and platform support, you know? So yeah, if you wanted to take the capture, once you've encoded it, you know, do you edit anything in like Final Cut Pro or Premiere or okay, so you know, once you edit everything and you spit out your video with your audio, you can just put it into the encoder and spit it out to a web player that would work on your desktop or to an Android device or an iOS device that works in certain players. So we have native support from Headjack, Delight, WeMersive, our own players, and Samsung Gear VR. And then Oculus Go has a lot of options. So Oculus Go, you can whatever you load into Samsung will actually port to the Oculus based on your account. So you wouldn't have to do anything more there. Or you could get fancy and do a whole Unity thing. And so we built a Unity SDK, and that works in gaming engines and web players and um, other and mobile players and apps that people have created. So that exists. And then something even more complex that's more inherent to the gaming worlds is the Unreal SDK that we also built. So you can export into that and utilize that SDK. I mean, you know, it depends on where you're going and what you're used to and how you want to deliver this content. But we support everything. I'm not familiar with A-Frame. What is A-Frame? Ah, okay. Well, we give you a web VR SDK that's free that you can embed into any player, any website you want. So you don't have to use an open source because we already provide you with that. But it inherently works with our SDK in Chrome and Firefox and things like that. So whatever website that you already have, this will just work with it. The web SDK is simple to use, simple to integrate. Yeah, please. It's just my name, Greg, which is Greg, at here360.io. Yeah, yeah, and we have a bunch. I mean, we just launched this microphone about 2 months ago, and so a lot of new demos are coming in. A lot of people all over the world are using the microphone and sending us new content. Um, so you'll be able to hear more and more. Um, but yeah, if you're interested in purchasing the mic, let me know. I can give you a discount for the next month or two. I could probably extend it to July. Um, so let me know, and it would be I have to ask, but I think it's 20. I think it's $300 off right now. Yeah, it all comes together right now. One purchase comes with everything that we make, and then all our updates are free. We don't charge for any of that. So, in what sense? Like a gallery, meaning? Yeah, I mean, if you go to our website, you can see some demos and hear some demos. And then as we're allowed to, because we're not really a service company, we're more of a product design company. So we don't go out and do services because that's a distraction for us. But as we get demos in from people that have been using the microphone and we get clearance to make those things public, there's more and more demos. So if you have an Oculus Go right now and you go to your Samsung account and you search for Here 360, there'll be a demo that pops up, and then from that one demo, you can link to other demos that we've put up there publicly. So I think we put up about 14 demos, but only about 5 of them are public right now. Maybe maybe 4 of them. And as I get clearance, because this is not my material, as I get clearance, I'll make more and more demos public so people can access that. And if you have a Gear VR, you can do the same thing. You can search for Here 360 and find stuff. Um, and if you want, send me an email and I'll keep you updated, and I can send you links to stuff as well. Okay. Sure. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Okay. Great. Take care.